felt like you are procrastinating, putting off tasks, building a backlog that falls into the bottomless bucket of tomorrow, feeling powerless and filled with guilt and frustration? The answers are in this book, The End of Procrastination. Procrastination is a personal development issue. But wait, before you skip, hang on. This is not the regular motivational video coaches type personal development. If you are frustrated by those videos, we'll discuss exactly why. The first leg in the system is motivation. Now, motivation has got a bad rep lately, and rightly so, because it is mostly goal-based motivation which turns into a rat race and exhaustion with no happiness. The two kinds of motivation that you need to stay away from are extrinsic motivation and intrinsic goal-based motivation. Extrinsic motivation is when you always have a stick above your head. The motivators here are rewards and punishments. You see no purpose in doing these, but then you put them off until you are in trouble. Like your high school assignments. You do them because there is an external pressure. This makes you less happy and your brain releases less dopamine. It also impacts your creativity, memory, and your ability to learn. When the stick disappears, you can't get yourself motivated. Intrinsic goal-based motivation. Most of us would have set some goals in our lives. Things like graduate, get a job, buy a house, a car, and so on. The problem with this kind of motivation is that you're so focused on your goal that on the way to your goal, you're not happy because you still haven't achieved it. And once you achieve it, you get accustomed to the accomplished goals. Like when you buy a new phone, you are extra careful, maybe for the first 2 days and at most a week. After a week, you're completely okay tossing your phone around. That is when you have become accustomed to your new phone. This is called Hedonic Adaptation. The joy of achieving a goal reduces to a temporary joy, and due to Hedonic Adaptation, you quickly get used to your new accomplishment and your joy disappears. So now you set an even bigger goal. People have become goal junkies. They only have short bursts of happiness and everything except long-term well-being. The motivation you need is intrinsic journey-based motivation. The intention of journey-based motivation, like the name suggests, is to focus on the journey and not the goals. This is based on having a personal vision. It's an expression of how you want to spend your limited time on Earth. The goals become milestones, and milestones ensure that you're working towards the vision and moving forward in the right direction. Since there is nothing you're chasing, there is no hedonic adaptation, and you are much happier in the present. This kind of motivation also kicks off the flow state. So, how do we use the tool of personal vision? There are 4 steps to finalizing your personal vision. The first step is personal SWOT analysis. This is the stocktake of your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Get a pen and paper, create 4 quadrants, and title them SWOT. Make sure you have at least 3 in each. Now feel free to pause the video whenever you need and work with me on this. After you have got 3 in each, let's deconstruct it. We should be aiming to build a life based on our strengths and our natural abilities. So we should spend more time developing our strengths. An ideal ratio is 80-20. 80% of your time in developing your strength and 20% of your time in developing your weaknesses. With opportunities, you have got your top 3 opportunities written down. This helps you steer away from decision paralysis. A plethora of options always leads to indecision. By limiting your scope of potential, you will be able to live up to it more easily. Analyzing threats is a preventive measure. This helps you be aware of them and you won't be caught by surprise. If it occurs, you are prepared and you will respond instead of react. The second step is a list of personal achievements. Now, turn the page over and write down all your achievements that you're proud of. Everything. Keep writing until you've got at least 10 items. Revisiting your achievements that you may have long forgotten will bring life to enthusiasm and self-confidence. Both of these feelings are critical for working on the vision. The third step is analysis of motivational activities. What do you do day to day that helps you grow in these 4 areas? Development. Activities that include like education, skill development, healthy lifestyle. Legacy creating, activities that leave a legacy behind. You could be planting trees, or something intangible could be bringing up a child. Third is relationship building activities, and these are the ones that strengthen your connections with your friends, family, or business contacts. The fourth is selfless acts. These are the things that you do to help the community or other people. These activities will help you create a well-balanced personal vision. The fourth step is creating a beta version of your personal vision. This is your first draft. Ask yourself these questions. What are your favorite quotes? What thoughts resonate with you strongly? Second question is, what are your 3 most important values in life? You could ask, how would you live to spend your time on earth? What kind of things would you ideally like to do? And how can you contribute to the society? What kind of selfless acts you can perform? Maybe it's giving food to the homeless or helping out in an NGO. After you have your first draft, create your final version using the draft as a skeleton. It could be a few lines long, or it could be a few paragraphs. The second leg in the system is discipline. At its core, discipline is self-regulation, the ability to overcome the negative emotions that cause us to avoid completing tasks. Second aspect is the ability to manage decision paralysis. And the third aspect is heroism, which is the art of stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's talk about self-regulation first. It's essentially you giving yourself orders and following them. The key to self-regulation is precise management of our cognitive resources. Every time we use our resources, our energy is drained. If it was a battery, you would use it during the day. It drains and replenishes after a good night's sleep. The goal is to use it smartly. Make most of our actions habitual and automatic so we don't spend as much energy in getting things done. The tool we use here is the habit list. Create a list of your habits and set minimum targets for each. It could be things like waking up minimum at 7:30 a.m. Fill in 1 row every day. If you meet your target, give yourself a green dot, and if you don't, a red dot. If you can't keep your habits because of reasons beyond your control, add a blue dot. Every month, pick one habit and focus on it 100% throughout the whole month. At the end, rate how well you lived up to your potential on a scale of 1 to 10. From time to time, read your personal vision so that you know why you are doing these things. I talk in great depth about habit formation and how to break bad habits in Atomic Habits book summary. I will link it down below in case you want to check it out. The second aspect is minimizing decision paralysis. Usually when we have to choose between 2 important but hardly comparable options, option A and option B, we have a tendency to pick nothing at all and focus on trivial option C. The tool that we can use to help with this is To Do Today. Now, this is different from a to-do list. When you start writing a list, it can become very long and overwhelming very quickly. Instead, this uses mind maps. Write down all the tasks you want to accomplish in a day, randomly, in no particular order. Give them a nice name. Then color code them based on priorities. Now define the path you will take. If your task is dependent on someone else, create a break and define 2 parts so that you are not waiting. Add some time estimates. Once you start, focus on nothing else. And once you finish, cross it out. After you finish, take a break. Because our cognitive resources are highest in the morning, try to complete the most unpleasant task first thing in the morning. Sometimes you have a lot more tasks than you can actually complete. Add these into an ideas page, like your personal backlog, things that you don't want to forget about, but at the same time are not urgent. Some other events that are time-bound for which a calendar can come in handy. I use the mind maps on a daily basis. In fact, I've started using an app called Notion for it. It has a very clean view of all the tasks you have to do and what you're working on right now. I also maintain a calendar on my phone to track all the time-bound events. The third aspect and tool is heroism. It is an expression of your ability to leave your comfort zone. The key to heroism is time. Our brain is designed to protect us. Our brain wants us to be in our comfort zone because it's natural and familiar. The more time you give the brain to think about and act out of your comfort zone, it will come up with all sorts of reasons on why you shouldn't be doing it. So don't give it that time. Follow the 3-second rule. Take action within 5 heartbeats. Don't give your brain opportunity to think too much. If you can do such acts of heroism, the odds of you living your life to the fullest will increase. The third system is outcomes. Now, if you have a vision and you act on it, you will get outcomes. But sometimes as life happens and we have some negative experiences, we can be in a state of learned helplessness even when the conditions change. Like if you put a hamster in a box and close the lid, the first day the hamster will try to jump and try to get out of the box. The second day it would jump a little less, and the third day it wouldn't jump at all. On the fourth day, when you lift the lid and the conditions change, the hamster still doesn't try. This is a state of learned helplessness. We catch a hamster. A few failures can induce this state. The tool Inner Switch can help with this. It is based on your freedom to choose how the outside world influences you. It will help you turn the negatives into positives. Failures put you in a learning zone, and it's an act of heroism. Results don't matter. Putting the maximum effort does. Associating perceived failures with all the good it brings can help us look into it in a more positive light. The second tool is a flow list. It is a list of all the hamsters you have caught and how you've benefited from the hamster. We have a tendency to judge our entire life based on our current mood. When we feel good, our past is bright and positive. But when we are unhappy in the present, the past is suddenly seen in a negative light. The flow list shows you your former happiness. This helps you with your current mood. Writing down 3 positive things in a day and rating your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10 can help you not associate your past based on your current mood. If you have caught a hamster, hit the hamster restart button. Acknowledge that you have caught a hamster and break the cycle. Take time to rest and replenish your cognitive resources. Remind yourself how the hamster works, and mostly it's up to you to get rid of the hamster. Flip your inner switch and become more future-oriented. Remind yourself your personal vision and the value of time. Go over the flow sheet and become more past positive-oriented. Press the restart button and start anew and better. The last system is objectivity. We all have a worldview and we make decisions based on this worldview. We have our own mental models and represent our notions of how the world works. But the fact that someone believes in his mental model doesn't mean that it is correct. This is called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. We believe things that aren't true. A thief once robbed a bank in broad daylight covered in lemon juice. He believed that covering himself in lemon juice made him invisible to cameras. The thief, Wheeler, was surprised when he was caught on camera and the police caught him a few hours later. When shown the footage, Wheeler claimed that it was fake. Since Wheeler had his mental model, it led him to make a flawed decision and was also unable to realize the flawed decision. Successfully fighting Dunning-Kruger Effect mainly involves educating yourself with facts from reliable sources of information. I do realize it is particularly hard today to get the right information. The available information is so chaotic and full of myths and half-truths. You see so many contradicting information that you don't know what to believe or what to base your decisions on. But you can also increase and test your objectivity through various types of feedback, engaging in critical thinking, and questioning your intuition and dogma. These are the 4 pillars of personal development. The first step to beating procrastination is to have a meeting with yourself. Go ahead, set up a meeting with yourself and introspect. Set it up as frequently as you need. Ask yourself questions. Have you been procrastinating lately? Have you been using the tools to your advantage? Have you moved forward since the last meeting? I know this all sounds like a lot of work, especially when you're trying to get started and beat procrastination. This is like an overload of information. But if you take away one thing from this, be it discipline, because habits can either make you or break you. I really hope this book summary helps you to beat procrastination and you take the first step and set up that meeting with yourself to make a conscious decision and structure your life's journey for positive experiences and getting things done attitude. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.